Empezamos la tercera entrevista de FutureCom 2016. Nos visita Sigfox y la empresa WND, que es un socio de Sigfox. Imagino que estarán muy pendientes de esta entrevista porque Sigfox es la estrella en estos momentos de lo que sería la conectividad y la tecnología IoT. Ustedes saben que está desplegando la tecnología en muchos mercados. La prensa está todo el rato hablando de Sigfox como un fenómeno que se está produciendo en el sector de las telecomunicaciones y evidentemente para nosotros es muy importante tenerles aquí para que nos den una actualización de su modelo de negocio, una actualización de dónde están implementando la tecnología, dónde la han implementado, qué está pasando, y también vienen acompañados de su socio WND, que nos va a permitir entender bien la relación que tienen entre ellos para que si hay algún operador en el mercado interesado en explorar la opción Sigfox, pues también entienda cómo trabaja con su socio WND, que le acompaña muchas veces a muchos mercados. Nos visita Francisco, que es el CEO de WND, y también Bertrand Rame. Properly pronounced. Vamos a hacer la entrevista en inglés porque así es el idioma común que tenemos entre los tres, así que déjenme cambiar a ese idioma para iniciar la entrevista. Gentlemen, welcome to telesemana.com.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here. You must feel like the stars because everybody's talking about Sigfox in a very positive way, so you're probably kind of a bit, you know. So first question, obviously you are both here, so why don't you tell us your relationship, why it's so important to know your relationship for those people interested in Sigfox. So if you can comment on that.
Yes. I'm WN Brazil, so Sigfox, they have a plan to go in the market. They choose a partner in the market that knows how to deal with the market, and they associate with this deal. So I'm very proud that they choose us, WN Brazil, and then we are deploying very fast the growth. It's very easy to deploy the system. This I give you this. So we are now in São Paulo, Rio, Campinas, and I think we are going to be end of 17 the 10 most big cities from Brazil. So I assume that in end of 2018 I'm going to have 80% of GDP market for Brazil. Okay. So that's the relationship. So we have a agreement between us to develop the country for them to sell the connectivity.
Now, Sigfox launched or announced an agreement with Telefonica here. Is the WND also on that agreement here, or it's a different thing?
Okay, the announcement with Telefonica is more a partnership, a commercial partnership, where we run with Telefonica a pilot here in Sao Paulo before actually even signing with WND.
Okay.
So Telefonica, as you know, is a shareholder of Sigfox as well. So we have multiple relationships with Telefonica as a shareholder, as a partner, commercial partner, as a technical partner as well.
Okay.
They're helping us also in Chile and Peru with a pilot in those two countries. But the actual relationship in Brazil moving forward will be with WND Brazil.
So Telefonica will be kind of a client of your partnership.
Exactly. Telefonica is actually, we are talking to Telefonica to finalize what we call a channel partner agreement deal, by which Telefonica will be a channel partner for WND in Brazil and also in other countries in Latam.
Okay, then let me recap your two models of operation.
Yes.
Because you have one model where you are providing the network on the country or the market where you are trying to enter. And another model is you are trying to partner with an operator, and it's the operator who's launching the network.
Yeah.
So in the case of Brazil, then the model is the first one. Is where you are deploying the network with WND.
Actually, no.
No.
Our standard model is Sigfox provides the technology,
okay,
and we always select a local partner, in this case WND Brazil,
okay,
to install the antennas, to manage the network, and to commercialize the connectivity.
Okay.
Because they know best the Brazilian market. We don't. And we do not have the ambition to know everything everywhere. So that's the standard model which we use in most of the 24 countries we now operate in.
Okay.
There are a few exceptions where we, Sigfox, are deploying the network ourselves. That's France, because it was the first country. This is our country of origin. Yeah. Germany and US.
Okay.
And Germany and US, the only reason why we didn't choose a partner yet is because we didn't find the right partner yet.
Okay.
This model may evolve, and obviously US is a very complex market, it's a huge market. The different states have different regulations, so it's not easy to find a single partner to do everything in the US. But again, our standard model is the first one. We have a partner, exclusive partner, and we rely fully on them.
Okay, so the fact that we understood that you had two models essentially it's two models because the circumstances made you have the second model, which is going on your own.
Yes,
But if you are finding a partner, you might change that scheme.
we might.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
So the ideal situation is finding always a partner.
exactly.
Okay. All right, so let me, I was going to ask you to give me an update on the different launches that you've done in Latin America. Let me just keep that for the end if we have some time to do so. And if not, we can do it via writing or via email or an additional article. Let me go over an interview we did with one of your colleagues, Thomas Nichols, in Telesimano.com, because some of the comments he made led us to have additional questions.
Okay.
And I think that you are the right guy to answer them. Obviously, Thomas would be the number one, but you probably are the number two. He mentioned on the interview that your model is to sell connectivity. And obviously, when we are talking with mobile operators in the different markets and in the industry, and probably you follow that, we always tell them not to just sell connectivity because that's the end of their own business model. Why, in your case, being the downpipe, I'll put that in brackets, is the right model?
Okay, now IoT is a totally different approach as sort of standard telecom or the telecoms we know. The technology that we have created is to create a new business with use cases. Some of them we know, some of them we don't even know because they will show up in the coming years. And in order to develop this technology, I think we have to split the roles. There's one role which is deploying the network with our partners, managing the connectivity. The other role which is having the vertical knowledge on a per vertical basis on what you want to do with this connectivity. These are two different roles. We don't have the knowledge of, we're not experts in a smart city, in utilities, in security, in tracking, and so on and so forth. We let people do that for us. And obviously we are in a big volume game.
Okay.
Our business model will only work if we connect billions of devices to our network. If we only do hundreds of thousands or even millions, it will not work. But we are so intimately convinced that there is a demand, and I think you said in the beginning, a lot of people speak about IoT. All the analysts, all the consultants are predicting big numbers. They don't necessarily agree on the numbers, but they're all big, right? So obviously we agree with that, and concentrating on our core business, which is connectivity, is critical in this, to succeed.
Okay, so you have created a structure by which, with connectivity, you can survive as long as you get certain amount of
right.
scale.
Yes, exactly.
Have you calculated that scale? I mean, how far are you from reaching that tipping point, where you would say, okay, we've reached enough markets, enough devices, where now Sigfox is? Do you have a figure on?
I don't have a number to give you.
Because you cannot give it, or because you don't have it?
Because I don't have it readily available, and each country is different. Some countries obviously necessitate more connectivities than others. It depends on the size, it depends on the cost to deploy the network in the country. But our ambition is billions. Okay. Anything below that is not what we're looking for.
Okay.
And it will take years to get there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying next week we'll have billions of connections. It will take time, but billion is the objective.
Okay. I know we mentioned at the beginning. You asked me if I wanted to know about Asia, and I said no. I just changed my mind. If you don't mind.
Yes.
Are you planning on running anything in China?
Okay, I'm not managing China.
Okay.
I know China is a difficult market. It's also a extremely powerful market in terms of business opportunities.
Yeah.
So there are discussions, but I cannot tell you what because I'm not involved in this on a daily basis.
Okay, let me go back to the technology then. And one of the key characteristics of Sigfox is that you are operating an unlicensed band.
Yes.
Which has some advantages and some disadvantages.
Yes.
The advantages we know, it's free, so it's there, anyone can use it. The disadvantages is that the fact that anybody can use it, it might have some interference with your own network if it gets too crowded. Do you think that could be a challenge or something that might be a bit off-putting for some companies, especially if they come from the telco side, which usually they are used to having licensed spectrum, in order to grow your business because of this little detail?
Well, let me give you two answers to this. The first one is when I look at the number of candidates we have to be our partners in the various countries we are analyzing, and those people are experts in radio, so they know what they're talking about. Obviously, this is not a concern to them. So this is sort of the commercial answer. And the technical answer is our technology in nature has been built to operate in such a potentially crowded environment. Ultra narrow band, so very, very narrow, very a strong signal, but very narrow, means that even in a crowded environment, the Sigfox signal, shows up, and you can't miss it. And which is one of the huge advantages of Sigfox compared to other technologies, is resistant to interferences, to jamming, which is nearly impossible to jam Sigfox unless you really deploy a huge amount of money to do it. So not a problem, and all the stats we run on our network show that the reliability of our connectivity, regardless of the environment, is close to 100%.
So you could also host critical applications, for example, security, where you need to make sure that the signal is reaching. If there is an order, even if it's very small in the data that is transmitting, but an order just to say activate this or close that, you can guarantee.
It all depends what the customer, in this case, is looking for. If they want absolute certainty that a signal is received, radio is not the option. Okay. Because radio connectivity will never guarantee that a signal is actually received, right? Unless there is an acknowledgement. Now, the Sigfox technology does not include an acknowledgement on the network, but we do send the same message 3 times, which in a network which is properly built means 99+% reliability. But there's still this point something percent where you're not guaranteed the signal will go through. So if the customer is looking for a 100% security, then Sigfox should not be the only technology they use. Okay. Sigfox can be used as a backup, and we do use Sigfox as backup to 3G in a number of use cases, in security, for example. But so it all depends on really what the customer is looking for.
Are you fearful of the competitive technologies that are being developed, such as narrowband IoT by the 3GPP, in the sense that this guy, even though you're saying, well, radio is not completely secure, I mean, or reliable, if you want to have reliability, probably use fiber or any other type of connectivity. But obviously, operators are going to play that advantage if they are launching a different technology on licensed spectrum. How would you address concerns from companies? Because I'm not an engineer, for example, and you're coming with a solution, but then a guy is telling me, yeah, but these guys are on a licensed spectrum and everybody can use it. My spectrum is mine, nobody can use it, so my guarantees are higher than these guys. Right. What would be your commercial response to such situation?
Well, first of all, the fact that there are competing technologies in IoT is great news.
Great news.
Because if we were on our own in this business, I think we'd seriously ask questions about the viability of this business. So it's not only us, which is good news. It means that there is really an appetite for this market. In terms of what competition means to us, I think that Sigfox really has a unique value proposition, which relies on a number of characteristics. We're not going to go into the details now. And even NB-IoT will bring some value for some applications, but for other applications, Sigfox will be very different. I'm thinking notably in terms of battery life. Battery life is the key to IoT. If we can't find a way to extend battery life years, decades, IoT will not be a reality.
Have you been able to figure that out?
I'm sorry?
Have you been able to figure that out? The battery life dilemma?
Yes, well, I mean, it's obvious. I mean, why does M2M, GSM-based M2M, still at sort of the millions of connections level?
Battery?
It's battery problem.
But I mean, do we have that problem solved today?
With Sigfox, we do.
Okay.
With NB-IoT, probably not.
Okay.
NB-IoT is a lot better than GSM-based technology,
with battery?
but still not as good as what Sigfox can offer. Yes.
Okay. A tricky quote from Thomas Nichols. He said, when we asked him, what type of businesses or services do you think have more potential on IoT? He said, to be honest, I don't know. And if somebody's telling you they know, they're lying. How do we interpret this sentence?
Can I call a friend?
Sure.
No, I know exactly what Thomas means by this. It doesn't mean he doesn't know, because he does very well know.
Okay.
But what he means is that IoT is, imagination is the limit, i.e. there's no limit. And the success of IoT will also come from the fact that technologies such as Sigfox enables new applications which were not possible before. And every day we are discovering applications where we don't even realize would exist. So obviously we know what are the sort of the use cases and the applications that are prevalent in this market, especially in Brazil. I mean, there's a lot of demand for security. I mean, it's
Tracking,
vehicle tracking, utilities, management of either infrastructure or telemetering. We all know there's a lot of that. In Brazil is one of the 5 countries in the world that has more cows than people, right?
Really? I didn't know.
Yes, you didn't know that?
No.
Uruguay, Argentina, Brazil, and 2 more, I think Australia and another one. Anyway,
Perhaps India.
maybe India is very populated though. So
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't know.
true.
So cattle tracking, monitoring is also a huge opportunity in Brazil and also in Latin America. So we know these things. Smart city, a lot of applications in smart city for parking related, waste management, light management, traffic management and so on. So we do know that. But what we hope and what we are convinced is that there are things that we don't even know today that we will discover in the next few years. Yes.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here today and for giving us your time and clarifying some of the concepts behind Sigfox. And we hope to keep you, that you keep us updated with more stories.
We will. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.